Is this thing on? Hello, everyone. Welcome to Stardew Diaries. I am Coco, my OC is Helios, and we're joined by a special guest here today. Very excited. Um, welcome,
Oh,
Rosie.
hello everyone, I'm Rosy, and perhaps some of you might know me from the D&E sessions, like that guy in the background uses spamming emails or just commenting on what's going on.
Our number one fan
Um,
and a
the
good
number one
friend
fan.
now. A good friend of mine
Yeah,
now. A friend that's
I'm
so
glad for
far
that.
away, like in the other side of the world.
We
But
have like
mm,
11 hours between us and two oceans, I think.
well, depending
But
on,
that's
I think
pretty
it's
much it.
only one ocean, right? You're from
Should be
Argentina,
one.
so just the Pacific
Should
Ocean,
be one.
just the biggest ocean. Um,
Um,
yeah,
but yeah, I'm here today, and don't expect much from my English.
oh
I
yeah,
don't practice much. I should practice more. I know, but I will do my best to make myself somewhat able to be here.
you're completely fine. You're good. You're good.
All right, I will
So
take your word.
one of the first things I wanted to ask you: is it hot in your country right now? It's so hot here. Our heat index are like
No,
reaching above 30 degrees Celsius. Do you use Celsius or Fahrenheit? Like
we
do
do.
you?
No. We do Celsius. We are not like the
Awesome. Weird United States.
uh,
You're.
those freaks, those goddamn freaks.
I don't understand Fahrenheit.
Uh, I do understand it because I have friends there, unfortunately.
Mm.
But we are at 11 Celsius. We are pretty much entering what
Wait,
is autumn.
oh my
Yep.
goodness, you're in the southern hemisphere. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
okay. 11
And
Celsius. That's so cold.
that's quite the average for us. Not
What?
much cold, not
Are
much
you like in
hot.
a mountain or something? Oh my goodness. Again, this episode is not about your.
Mm,
This episode is not about Argentina, but I'm just so curious about other places other than the Philippines because it's just hot weather and then cold weather here. Sometimes when I talk to our clients, or
yeah.
like customers in America, I know I shouldn't say this, but like in work, like I always ask like,
Mhm.
what's the weather like? What's snow like? I have never seen snow, and like
What?
they complain about it a lot.
Well, we have we have snow here.
Oh,
It's been a couple years since it snowed on my kinda my area, my zone. But we have like pretty much all four seasons are like quite different. Yeah, summer, it's summer. Winter, same.
I see.
Um, and the same with the rest.
That's so weird that it's like cold in one side of the world and then like so hot in the other. Like hemisphere wise, it's so weird. Anyways, we're getting distracted. Like I'm not sure if it's your fault
Pretty
or
much.
my fault. I think it's my fault. I always get distracted while doing Stardew Diaries. But all right. Before we start talking about the plot points for today, which I think the title for today would be confused identity, like because we're
Hmm.
gonna talk about that, but
Yep.
I just want to start off like what I need to do for today because if I don't do that, I always forget. So we have enough. I think we still have enough money for another um seaweed, like seaweed, but we don't have stone. But I think we can. Oh, never mind. I'm trying to save as much money for summer. So I think for today we're just going to get some catfish. Try to catch some catfish. So yeah, all right. So that's my day.
Molefish.
Um, like already set and good to go. So we can start talking about our topic for today, which is confused identities and or maybe like avoidance. Maybe avoidance is better, right? Avoidance. I think since that's
Avoidance,
my interpretation.
avoidance, detachment,
Yeah, detachment styles, I guess.
dissociation.
Okay. So the inspiration for this is because I've been watching anime. Recently I finished My Hero Academia last weekend. From like season 5 to the latest season, and then I watched Neon Evangelion um, just last night. Like I started watching last night, and I binged it all the way up to just an hour ago. And I was like, "Oh my goodness! It's a huge mind mind flub, right? Like it's crazy." I believe you've watched it already, yeah.
It's been a while. It's been like much 5 years.
Oh my
I
goodness!
watched it during the pandemic.
But it's like, it's crazy. But so, you still remember it? I mean, we're not gonna talk about like the lore or stuff too much, but I assume like
No
if we start talking
news.
about the context, then you'll start remembering. But all right. So, without any spoilers, or I mean, I assume people would have watched already, but if not, then go watch it first, and then come watch this video again. We might
It's
talk
gonna
a
take a
little
while
bit
for
about.
them to watch it and come back here.
I did it in one sitting. I did it in one evening. I had 2 meals.
Jesus Christ.
That's that's ADHD. That's ADHD kicking in, right?
Yeah, I know. I know it.
Just
I
take a
have some
nap.
of it.
Nice afternoon. Anyways, I think let's just not talk about the main plot points. It's just the how the characters behave and interact. So let's start with um like
Angel
this
there.
describing avoidance first, because that will be the context of most of our conversation. So I think I see avoidance as you building up walls and hiding yourself so that you protect yourself. It's like a coping mechanism. You push people away so that you don't get hurt, or maybe that's one of the reasons, right? Do you agree with that definition?
Mm, I mean, it could vary from what you want to take avoidance or be far away from.
Yeah.
Like, could be something you don't like, could be something you are not agreeing with, and you know, it is that too of making barriers.
Mm. The
And
reasons may vary, but the effect is the
it
same,
is
right?
it is justified to avoid others or
Mm.
something. Do you avoid it from you are scared of it, you don't like it, or
Mm.
you don't simply want to take your time or consume you in a way you don't really much would like?
I
Like, what would you avoid,
like
for example?
like for example, like I avoid people because I've been hurt before and it's coming from trauma. I am distrustful and I don't want to be hurt anymore, and you know letting people in my walls only leads to manipulation or
Yeah,
feeling that I need to like hold a relationship with them, and sometimes that's very difficult, so or stressful, um or just having the responsibility of having a friend, like having someone to talk to is a bit stressful for me. So those could be kinds of avoidance, or maybe like you don't want to have any conflicts with anyone, so to avoid conflicts you don't talk, like you avoid them. And there's
I mean,
plenty
it could
of
be,
reasons.
yeah, like convoluted stuff like that. Or for example, I avoid spicy food, something simple.
Oh yeah,
I
okay, it
can
doesn't
handle
need
I
to
can handle
be.
spicy food.
Yeah,
Yeah, it doesn't have to be
social.
that complex, that social. You could avoid a lot of things.
Right, right.
You could avoid phobias. A phobia, for
Right,
example.
right.
Phobia to spiders, arachnophobia,
I
or
have one.
phobia to the ocean.
Oh yeah, I mean that's literally like phobias, right? Like
Exactly.
fears. Yes, exactly. So,
You avoid from fear.
yes.
Avoidance comes from fear. You don't, or stuff you can do, for example.
Mm.
I can handle spicy food. My body can handle spicy food. I don't do it from fear specifically, or kind of like a fear, or you know, eating something spicy. It messes us with my stomach, and I know I'm down for a bad time for a couple of days. And you could put it that, you could put it that way. Avoidance comes from a fear that you don't know, or you are not in total control of.
Yeah. So,
Like, yeah, social relationships
mm,
require mm, contribution from both sides.
yeah.
Yeah, you do your stuff, your side, but the rest of them, or what should be equal, a bunch of it should also come from the person you are trying or maintaining that relationship with.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there is a zone you will have to trust just
Yeah.
and put yourself on somebody else's hands and trust they will do goodwill of you.
Yeah. But that is the challenge, right? Like, it's very
That is the
difficult
challenge.
to.
That's trust is trusting.
Yeah. Trusting is the challenging part. So. So
You
yeah.
know,
Mm-hmm. Sorry.
there is a phrase I heard from. I play a bunch of um, air fighting games and stuff like that, and some of them have a pretty particular story. And one of them, there is a phrase that for a war of peace, like if we want to be at peace with everyone, we need to trust each other.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
Everyone
there's not a
must
lot of
trust
that
each other.
lately. There's not a lot of that lately.
And yeah, and at the end, it is the antagonist that is speaking, says that yeah, we need to trust each other for a war of peace, and that will never happen. It is kind of silly.
I mean, that's
Like,
that's
yeah,
pretty pessimistic. I mean, I think we can do
it,
it.
it's
Like,
it is pessimistic from
maybe
his side, but
maybe if we start
for example,
dropping angels in, right? Here and there,
maybe
maybe that will help the world.
maybe like if we offer people the you know unification of everyone and kind of like promise not more suffering, which wink wink kind of leads to something.
Yeah.
Um, but that's also what avoidance comes from. You fear of suffering.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. And some of the characters. So going back to, oh my goodness, I think this is catfish. It's very slippery. It's so slippery.
Focus, focus,
No.
focus, focus.
I think this is a catfish. Come on. Oh, it's fly away. No. I'm having trust issues with this fish. It just stays still, but then slides away. Oh my goodness. Oh no.
Keep it up.
No. Alright, done. We got it. We got the catfish. It's my
Let's
first
go.
catfish of the day. My goodness.
Jesus.
Um, yeah. So going back to Evangelion, there's lots of characters there. I mean, it's my interpretation that, you know, basically,
Mm-hmm.
major stuff happened because
Mm-hmm.
people had trust issues. I think people didn't talk to each other good enough, and I think something can be learned from that in real life. In my interpretation, like in the ending, we
Mm-hmm.
don't wanna spoil anything, but I think a lot of stuff could have been avoided if people were a bit more open, I suppose. I'm not sure what the goals are for specific characters, but I think some of them were pretty valid, like pretty um can be attained without hurting other people, you know? And that's what happens if communication breaks down. If you don't trust, if you keep on avoiding, you'll eventually hurt yourself, and you'll hurt people around you. And that's something that I reflect on myself. And I think this is like I'm relating to Shinji a lot, the main protagonist, the male main protagonist, since
Mhm.
he pretty much avoids everyone because he was hurt and abandoned. And it's like he went through all the stages of like he wants to be noticed, but
Mhm.
isn't really sure, like at some points of the story was isn't really sure why he needs it, so he did a little bit of like um a little bit of help from other people. And that's another
Yep.
big conflict of like the story of like the psychology of the main characters. Like he needed help from people, but he's not really sure what he needs help with at the end of the day. And it and and that's why I always say um to have hobbies and like passions and and stuff like that, so when you do connect with other people, it's easy for them to get in touch with you, since if you know what you want, you're working on getting something. And oh my goodness, it's another catfish. It's so slippery. I'm losing my trail of thought here. uh
I mean, pretty much what Shinji feels with himself. And sometimes he feels that he feels worthless.
yeah.
He feels like he has no use for somebody else can pretty much come in his place and do what and somebody else needs to do
Mm.
because it is that he needs help to reach a goal he doesn't know.
Yeah.
Because he feels kind of lost sometimes,
Yeah. And that.
and he
Mhm.
doesn't like have anything of, or he doesn't feel he has anything of value
Yeah.
for for anybody else.
And in my opinion, you don't really need to have like very deep um like connections with people, or you don't need to have a big dream in order, when I say likes and hobbies, um
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't even have to be that. It can be like boiled down like he wants people around him, or he wants people to listen to him. And that's the kind of help that he needs. But there are people helping him, there are people around him that can support him. It's just he wasn't able to identify um what exactly he wants, or needs, because he has his classmates, he has the purple,
Oh.
he has his guardian, right? But I think
Mm-hmm.
in the end there, all of those people could have helped, like or change his mind, or like convince him. But um
Especially
because
a
of
couple
his
of
mhm,
them.
yeah. And but because of his self
Um,
loathsome and like this negative cycle of like avoiding people, he doesn't want other people to be hurt.
mhm.
He basically um like shoved them away, and he wasn't able to reach any help. And because of that, the main events of the story played out as it did. And I think it's lack of communication on his side. And because his friends can't help him if he doesn't communicate that, right?
And there you pretty much have the reason of his avoidance.
Yeah. But he
If
never
we,
trusted anyone.
I think you are good enough. Yep. He kind of has that fear of getting hurt again or accidentally harming someone else
Right, right.
because
But
that he doesn't know what he exactly wants, and he maybe doesn't feel like having those around that he appreciates, but you know, his clueless emotions might hurt
Yeah.
someone,
And
which happens at some point.
whenever he does,
We won't talk about that.
yeah.
Easy.
Yeah. And whenever he does have the opportunity, or if he's challenged with anything, like he immediately tries to run away. And that's like his you know fight or flight response, mostly flight, you know because we saw some confident and like assertiveness from him at some points of the story, but he was pretty much um it almost felt like he's forcing himself, right? um like, remember that's one time that he got sucked up, right? Remember that
Mhm.
scene? Like, he got sucked up into like his shadow because he was like all assertive and like confident, and because of that, like, someone
Yep.
else had to pick up the stack and like um had to try and help him. But I think that's like I'm not sure about like the deeper meanings to it. I mean, I haven't really had the time to digest everything, but I think that's like um where a lot of people go through, right, when they're trying to overcome their problems. I mean, I could give that example for myself, like right now, like I'm trying to be strong now and like
Mhm.
overcome my own avoidance by opening myself up um in public, like, doing these diaries and stuff. But it's not always
You know,
going to work out, and sometimes you'd feel like you're literally stuck, like you're in a hole, right? Like if it doesn't work out, and that hurts. The disappointment hurts, but you always need to try. You always need to keep trying, keep putting
something
yourself out there.
I
Yep.
think about often is there are not vicious cycles and vicious cycles. You have spirals,
Yeah.
right? You have vicious spirals and virtuous spirals. You can go up and down. How do you make a vicious spiral? For example, what Shinji does avoids people, avoids trying to kinda get help from his friends by just running away from them and problems,
Yeah.
and just keep going down, down, and down through that spiral. It's not a cycle. It's just a spiral that goes deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
You can go up, however. Shinji at some point, he kind of gets more assertive of himself. Um,
I
I
mean,
think I should rewatch that part of the shadow.
yeah.
Do you know? I think there is a point with himself that you know. Mm, Shinji kind of like craves for that attention, that appreciation, love he seeks. He doesn't know how to seek, and that's kind of another the point that yeah, Shinji keep going, kept going down, but that didn't mean he could go up or try to make a best of himself,
Yeah.
even at the lowest.
I mean,
And that's something we can do. Like, yeah, for example, I had pretty much hard depression, like at the beginning of 2024.
mm-hmm.
What was like three, the first 3 months, I had a very very bad depression. It was for even hard for me to get out of bed some days. I knew I was on a spiral. It was pretty easy for me to spiral down on emotions and break down. But little by little, I, you know, tried doing another stuff like workout and 30 minutes or and talk with some friends or read back some stuff from that school. just to keep myself entertained. And what stuff I couldn't do at first, like that consistently, but I keep a note of them. Like, yeah, it is for most people couldn't be like nothing or just something of every day. But for me, were pretty small achievements that helped me out even more to you know do something else every day, do
Yeah.
something more every day,
Yeah.
and it helped out. It helped. I just did go went to a psychologist to fix that up, and little by little I could break down from that spiral of that vicious spiral and kinda heal from it in a short period of time. Like I expected, I told myself this will take a while.
Yeah.
It
Change
didn't.
takes
It
time.
didn't. Um,
Or healing takes time.
Healing takes time, and from that time, I was still a bit like conflicted. Like
Yeah.
those 3 months pass, I healed myself a bit. College start. I cannot fix it.
Yeah.
Pretty. I had a lot of good things happening at once, and I'd say maybe that's something we could like. I didn't focus on avoiding my problems. I did well. I would do it one at a time,
Yeah.
slow, take it slow, and it's something like I feel Shinji could have taken. Like, yeah, he every every small thing, even smallest thing, like kind of scared him away. Like even the most basic social interactions. And Shinji could have taken a slower path, but some that could have helped,
Yeah.
even a
And
little.
but to tell the truth, I think he really needed like major intervention in a lot of those
He
situations.
need
And
he need he major intervention.
yeah.
At some point, like at first, it could help him help it, maybe by himself.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were some things that needed major intervention of health.
Yeah. I think like
There are some failures into.
in the beginning
Yeah.
definitely he, because he didn't have any foundation in the beginning, like he didn't really know anyone, like he doesn't have a good foundation. And but when he met the purple haired girl, I keep forgetting her name. um but like when he met his guardian, right, like that could be like a pillar for him,
Oh,
like
Misato,
a,
Misato,
yeah,
Misato,
Misato, like
Misato.
she definitely could have been a like a good pillar for him, but it's just not enough, I suppose. And when that is not enough, you need like a major intervention. And I want to start talking about Asuka because um, I definitely relate to her like a lot too. Like they're like two sides of me, honestly. Since I can be meek, I can be weak, I
They are
can
literally
avoid
me.
people socially, but I'm also very confrontational. Like I'm up in your face, especially if I have problems. Like, or I'm up in my own self. Like like whenever I know that something is wrong within me, I don't stop thinking about it, and I just think about it, like every single pattern of behavior that I do. I try to break down and rationalize and come up with solutions on how to address them. You know,
Yep.
and I think that's Asuka. Like, however, in the beginning, like she's like super confident, like super self assured, but we see this her character become you know um when stress and challenges start coming in and her insecurities, um she started doubting herself, and she started that spiral. um and because with the lack of affirmation that she's getting, and it's mostly self-inflicted, honestly, I think, because again, she was surrounded with the same people that Shinji was, like very supportive people, very caring people. um the blue-haired girl, I forgot her name as well, um even though I've just watched it,
Hey,
kept give
yeah, Yami.
kept giving her solid, and valid advice like throughout the series, but she wasn't receptive to it, and in fact she was pushing those advice away because of her ego and and her nature. And that's self-harming if you're not taking in wisdom of from other people. That can also be um you know cause harm to yourself. And that's me in a nutshell. I've learned how to be independent at a very early age. Like, I mostly relied on art commissions during my college years, and I don't really ask for money from my parents anymore. Actually, it's the opposite now. They're asking money from me. And
Yep.
you know I'm not rich. Like, I'm not like living fancy right now, so I kind of need the money as well. I'm trying to get
Yeah.
by. But it's just I'm used to it. And my take on things, like, I had to learn all of I've had similar situations before where I was depressed and I was sad and I was like sorting through my identity. And then when I asked for help from my family and some of my friends, instead of like you know um instead of getting advice, they know that I'm a strong person. So I was, they basically said that you can do this. Like, you've got this. And
Mm.
it's because of that
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm scared of asking for help now, because I don't, I'm, I, people seem to have this perception of me that I'm a strong person and I'm someone that can be relied on, which is true. I can do it. It's just I'm not strong all the time. I need support and
Mm.
you know and stuff like that. So nowadays I don't rely on
Me.
people generally, and I can come off as you know assertive and confrontational, but deep inside I want to be coddled. I want to be taken care of. Like, I
Yeah.
want to
You're a softie.
you
We
know
know that.
and
And
I
with
need support
that
as well.
stuff, and caregivers need to be taken care of too.
Yeah.
Like, you see me, I'm a doctor.
Hmm.
Well, information still. And
Who takes
what is
care of the
the
doctors, right? What if the doctors get sick?
who? Yeah, other doctors. I mean, like, what is the most common perception society has about doctors
They're intelligent.
when no, when dealing with stressful situations?
Yeah.
We are emotionally endurant.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
We
Some
can
might
take a
even
lot.
say emotionally detached.
That's that's something we practice. We still feel, we can still be empathetic, but we detach emotionally because
Oh,
we
shoot,
need to.
yeah.
We are people too, and we feel,
Mm-hmm.
and we cannot break in the moment. We can break later. Later, I had break during my career.
Yeah.
I nearly broke down a few weeks ago, actually, and that's fine. We are allowed to cry. We are allowed to, you know,
Of course, yeah.
ask for help. And we won't be what we are, and without anyone's help. We need help
Yeah.
from others.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I can't form myself as a doctor on my own because, well, in the internet age, we have pretty much everything you need on your computer, your phone. Like, you have the same books, like the ones I use, available to use. You want to, like, read about whatever, cardiology,
Yeah.
pneumonology, whatever. You can read those too. You can learn from what I used to learn. But there is stuff that only doctors can tell you. There is a lot of stuff that it isn't in the books. It
Yeah.
isn't written. You need somebody else's help to get that for you. And that's pretty much what happened between Shinji and Asuka. They don't like accepting help from others.
Yeah.
Asuka because of her pride and straight personality, Shinji from his avoidance and fears.
Yeah. Avoidance and fears. Yeah.
They don't accept help from different reasons.
Yeah.
Asuka because he needs to keep that
Facade.
facade of herself, a strong facade of herself, and Shinji because he is a coward.
Yeah. Yeah.
Plain as that. They share some traits that avoid them from asking or searching for help they need,
Yeah. And
and that's what hurts that their character. That also gives some development, but
yeah.
it's what hurts both
Yeah.
Shinji and Asuka equally don't seek for help or don't want help one way or not or another.
Yeah. And
Uh,
sorry, but just to relate
yeah,
that to myself, my motivations and my goals need me to be a strong supporting character
yeah,
for others, so I can't afford to run away. I can't afford to wall myself if I need to be a leader, because as a leader you can't shut people out. You need them, you need to communicate with them, because for example, like in my D&D group, like as the DM, if I am avoidant, I am not able to provide my players like a fun experience in our session. If any sort of like stress comes into the game, I'm the guard, like I'm the front man of the
yeah.
session,
You
so
have you
I
have
need to be
people
strong.
dependent of you. Yeah, people
So yeah.
depends on you, so
Mm,
that's kind of it's a bit scary. I have um, people's life depending on me,
yeah. Oh
and
yeah, yeah,
I know
for
the
you
feeling.
especially, yeah.
I know the feeling. Like one mistake from me can mean the difference between life and death.
Right, right.
And yeah, I know the feeling.
Yeah.
Mm,
And yeah.
it is mostly about comprehend what others feel, understand what they feel, what they want, and hear them.
Yeah. So
You know, a lot from the diagnosis we do comes from hearing the patient,
yeah.
asking questions, let them talk, let them explain themselves. They come with doubts, they come with fears, and we need to treat those too.
Yeah.
We treat emotions. We treat emotions and diseases,
Yeah.
mostly emotions.
Yeah. And
So, as a leader, you also need to treat those emotions,
yeah,
what they
yeah.
feel, what they want. Um, talk it.
Yeah.
The
And
best way to come to an agreement is to communicate.
yeah. And I'm not a doctor, but I used to be a lot more, but I'm a support person for a lot of people. I'm mainly the support person for my partner. I'm the support person for a couple of friends, and it's a tough responsibility. Back then, I was a support person for a lot of. If you watch this series, then you'd know people that commit, you know, harm to their physical self, and people that are
Mm-hmm.
being abused by their families, things like that. And
Yeah,
as
I know
someone
that.
that is more aware and someone's that more like self-assured, um, I can't run away because I have that social responsibility, or at least as a friend, it doesn't necessarily like a social responsibility to help, but you have to be strong for them. And I have a like an experience before that a person was on a call with me, and they were
Yeah.
literally doing bad stuff to themselves while
Holy.
crying while on a call with me. And they were yelling,
That's
they
rough.
were like crying, and I had to calm them down. And you know
Ish.
you'll really know what you'll really understand, like how you mean to another person. um when that happens to you, you really need to, even if it's a stranger, like we've seen videos, or like we've heard about stuff where, like, people that are trying to do things to themselves, and you need to convince them otherwise. You just need to be there. You just need to listen to them, let them vent, let them talk. And as you've said, it's the emotions that you need to fix. You as a doctor, obviously they have physical illnesses, but a lot of it has to do with their emotional side as well, right? And just to cap the topic off, in my opinion, the easiest way to help another person, for me at least, is to understand what they want. You know, because if they don't want to be cured or helped, then it's going to be very difficult to help them, right? But if they know what they
Yeah.
want, then that's great, right? Like, but if they don't know what they want, that's a challenge. You need to like get to know them, and like make them
Mm,
realize what they need,
oh,
because
for example,
yeah,
for example, another patient I have this was the past week, and we had a patient with tuberculosis and cancer
yeah,
the same day. Or well, the patient asked why going to do an interview, do the physical exam, blah blah blah. The main thing, and we had the chance, we give him the opportunity to take the treatment for tuberculosis. So this is wouldn't progress. He has his lungs with cancer, even so it was going bad pretty fast, and he didn't take it. He didn't want the medication because we told him he wasn't in the phase of spreading the infection, and he said, "I don't want it. I don't want to be cured." It was his decision. We couldn't do anything,
yeah,
and we got to respect it. If you don't want the help, we won't give it to you.
yeah. And that applies to
And
that applies to friends too, right? Like,
yeah,
whether if let's say it's a friend that's suffering from something that you want to help them out with. you know let's say they're struggling with something about their family. um you can help them cope with it, but at the end of the day, it's still their choice if they're going to deal with it or not. Another example is addiction. Like, you can try to help them, but if they succumb to their addiction, there's very little
mm-hmm,
that you can do. Right?
yeah.
If they really want that, then it's their body, it's their
Mm.
choice. um, it's very difficult to change that. And I've had that experience with my family. My mom has asthma, but she smokes cigarettes. And she nearly died before because of her asthma. Because
Yeah, I can tell.
because of like when we had our third kid, my sister,
Yeah,
she
yeah,
needed to go through anesthesia, but she had severe asthma. And I'm
mm,
not sure, you're a doctor, right? So you'd be able to have an
yeah,
idea. If you're under anesthesia, you wouldn't know if you're having an asthma attack.
yeah.
And that's very dangerous. So, and she still smokes, and like I gave them an ultimatum. Like, I told my parents, if you guys don't
Yeah,
stop smoking, I'll start doing stuff to myself as well, because you guys, that's what you're teaching me. You are my parents, you are my role
yeah,
models, and
yeah.
you're not taking care of your bodies, and you're getting old, you're 40, 50 now, and like you're still smoking, and that's not healthy. And I told them,
Depends.
I gave them two
Well,
choices.
that's more personal. Yeah,
I gave
you
them
give
two
them a
choices.
chance.
uh
It comes up to them,
yeah, it's
unfortunately.
really up to them, but the ultimatum
Um,
that I gave them is that I'll cut off all of my bad habits. Like, I sleep up late, I stay up late, and I love
yeah,
video
we know
games.
that. We
And
know that.
or I start doing smoke. It's my smoking as well, like, or bad stuff to my health, and like
Or
they
more vaping, which
they really said no.
isn't pretty good as well.
They really
You know,
said no,
you
and
you
that's
said
very
you
sad.
said you vape, right?
I vape now, yes.
That's pretty much the same as
I know,
cigarettes.
I know, I know,
Well,
but I don't have asthma. You're not gonna
well,
help.
that's
You're not gonna convince me. I'm so sorry.
that's that. Both are bad. He has a condition, right?
Yes.
Which kind of exacerbates the stuff with it. But you could try. You could say, well, we stop vaping. You quit the cigarettes. And I know both will take a while. My
Yeah.
boyfriend does vaping too, and I kinda managed to make him quit for like 3 months. And then he sent me a message. He started again.
He started again.
I was like, well, not much I can do about it.
Yeah.
I could tell you everything I want, like papers or give you an essay or inform you as much as I can with secondary effects or whatever it has. And it is up to you if you want to take the decision of change and do, good to yourself, better to yourself.
Yeah.
I could give you everything you need.
Yeah.
It's that what happens with patients too. At least with depends on the healthcare system you are dealing with specifically, and we can give you everything you need. Or, well, almost everything. There are things we can cure, but what we can cure, we will try to give you what you need. Um, for example, asthma. Um, the medication for asthma here in Argentina is free. All right.
Oh. It
If you're diagnosed with asthma, we will give you or try to give you
really.
the most important stuff to you without discount, or sometimes it can come for free.
Mm.
Or diabetes, for example, and insulin is given mostly for free. Also, the test, how do you call it? And test devices are also given once for free to patients insulin dependent. And that's kind of what comes to when you are trying to give help to someone. You can give them everything they need to make the change, but it's up to their mind to
Yeah.
choose. That's not up to you.
Yeah.
You will do your best. They
So.
might choose to not, and that's not your fault.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah. I mean, I learned that the hard way. But
Yeah, I know.
anyways, I checked the recording. It's already 48 minutes. So let's cap it
So
off.
let's wrap it up.
So yeah, I basically can't help people. It If you're the person that needs help, you can't always run away from your problems, or you can't lock yourself in your problems. You need to either communicate your problems, or if other people are trying to help you, you need to be receptive to them, and try to understand them. If you don't know
Mm-hmm.
what you need, it's important that you really um, discover that for yourself. Other people can help you with that, but again, at the end of the day, whether if it's resolving your personal conflicts or figuring out what you need, all that stuff, like if someone else is trying to help you or you're doing it yourself, no matter what, you need to figure that out, since at the end of the day, it's your choice, it's your life, it's how you want it. But you have, if you want connections around you, if you want to live a so objectively good life, because I know some people don't necessarily want people around them, but you need that. um you have a responsibility to yourself to take care of yourself, whether if
Mm-hmm.
it's physically, mentally, socially, or whatever kind of situation you need. You always have that choice. You can't keep
Yep.
avoiding the problem, otherwise it
Yep.
festers and grows. Um so so yeah, I think you know in
It's pretty much.
Evangelion, it's pretty, like, as I mentioned at the start of this, it's on the most extreme side of things. Like, if if you don't
Yeah.
have
What we
that,
talked today, uh, you try to exaggerate it a bit, and you have a Evangelion.
yeah,
You
you have an Evangelion, like,
pretty much you have
a lot of
Evangelion.
people die, and but I think again, you hurt people, you harm people if you don't take care of yourself. I think it's honestly, I think it's kind of toxic if you don't, if you do that to other people around you.
Ay, Dios
um
mío.
so so yeah, but you know we don't want things to be too negative here, so to end on a high note, or like a good note, just take care of yourself. It's a Sunday, for us at least here. It's a Sunday, just take some time to introspect, have some fun, and I'm not.
Okay, ice cream.
Yeah, I have a sore. I'm just getting better from a sore throat, so maybe not no ice cream for me right now. But
Oh,
just think about your friends. That's why I say when you feel happy, what you need to feel is gratitude, because you incentivize the people around you to keep helping you, right? Or not necessarily help you, but spend more time with you. That's why gratitude is very important. So, and speaking of gratitude, thank you so much, Rosie, for joining me on this one. I've been asleep on Stardew Valley on the bed for about like more than 30 minutes now. I think
it's been fun. I
this
like to
had
be
been
here.
like a podcast. Maybe we should do a podcast.
I'm not ready. Just let me end out my career and
I know there's a
I'll
little
let
bit
you
of
know.
a English language
Barrier,
barrier
yeah.
here, yeah, but
Yeah.
you know, it's been good. Like, this is really cool. It's my first collab for Stardew Diaries. I'm definitely open to having more people in and share their thoughts on things. I think we got really sidetracked from Evangelion, but our main topic
Just a
for
little.
today is Avoidance. But yeah, it's a really good show. It's very confusing at times, but I think that's part of it. There's literally an episode of just mental nightmare scenarios, and
Oh, yeah.
that's what depression feels like. That's what happens to you if you don't communicate, if you don't open up. You know, so yeah, just avoid that. Wait, avoid
Avoid.
avoiding. Avoid
I
avoiding.
mean,
That's our
you
message
can
for
avoid
today.
avo- avoid being avoided.
Avoid being an avoidant, But yeah, that's our message
Avoidant.
for today.
Well,
It's a Sunday. You
oh
guys
god.
enjoy yourselves. Rosie, would you like to share closing thoughts or say goodbye? Just
Nah, just do like someone doesn't do here sleep more than 8 hours a day, at least six.
hey,
And
yeah,
just yeah, take care of yourself. You are nobody else out there will take care of yourself better than you.
yeah. Hon-
Um,
Honestly though, I slept for
yep.
more than, like, I think like 10 to 12 hours yesterday, since I didn't, we didn't have a D&D session yesterday, so got plenty of time to sleep, so I did.
No, 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 no. Your brain just sleep there. That's fine. That's pretty fine.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Anyways, again, thank you so much. Let's wrap it up. You guys have
Pretty,
a great
yep,
rest of your
pretty
day,
good to it.
and my character will now finally sleep for the day.
Yeah, yeah.
It's crazy.
Adieu.
Adios. How do you say bye bye in Spanish?
Adios, mocosos.
Adio
No, wait, no.
mocosos.
Let's go. That's it.
Alright.